Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Humans of Pesto. We have Utsav with us, who is yet another graduate of Pesto. And in order to, I was just doing an AMA and people were asking, why is Pesto not investing more on marketing? We have some crap comments on Quora and Reddit and stuff like that. And my answer to those was exactly the same that, we want to do marketing, but in a very authentic manner. We don't want to do online reputation management. We want to be as authentic as possible, and that's why we do these episodes, right? So we have Utsav with us today, who is 19 years old, who is a school dropout. He left school at, I think, in 10th grade, so I'm guessing he was 15, and he started coding since that time. And today he's working for one of my favorite companies out there, Proximity Tech, and he is working as a remote developer. So that and a lot more about his journey we are going to talk about in today's episode. Utsav, welcome, and thank you so much for taking our time and sharing your journey with us today.
Thank you, Ayush. Hi.
Awesome. So सब लोग curious है Utsav. Let's break the ice and address the elephant in the room. When you dropped out of class 10th, how did your parents react?
So it was actually a very interesting conversation. So I planned this from a very early time that I'll study for 2 months before my 10th board, and after 2 months, for these 2 months I won't touch my laptop, and after 2 months I won't touch my books, and that's exactly what I did. So I completed my boards exam. I came to Delhi. I was actually here for I think 9 months, and then in this 9 months I actually studied some things, and then I started teaching also. So in the same institute that I was learning, I asked my director to I want to teach, and she just picked up her phone, called all my teachers, and everybody gave me a thumbs up. So I immediately got a job.
Wow.
And from next day I started teaching and all that. After this, when I came back to my house to continue my studies now, that I have my examination for 11, so I need to study and give the test. So I'm telling you honestly, I mean, I actually tried, okay? But when you have left studies for almost 1 year, or uske pehle, you forgot about the things that you already knew, and also the things that I haven't learned for 1 year. 11th class ka maine kuch nahi padha, aur main piche ki sari cheezein bhul chuka hu. So it is very difficult for me to catch up now, okay? So I think I tried for around 1 week. मैंने पक्का कोशिश करी, सच में कोशिश करी, but I could not do it, ठीक है? And then I thought कि is this actually required? So it was not, क्योंकि मैंने already चीजें कर रखी थी, मैंने already job कर लिया था. I know कि I can do something without this said degree, ठीक है? So Absolutely. Now what I started doing in the next week, I was sitting with my book, but I was not reading that. Instead, I was just thinking and I was planning कि कैसे मैं अपने घर पे बात करूंगा, how would I convince my parents to let me leave my studies and continue with my work. And that's what I did for another week. After these 2 weeks, I asked my parents to give me some time. I sat with them, with my entire family. I have a elder brother and an elder sister. Yeah. So I gathered everybody. I started with this key, what do you want from me? So if I complete my studies, I have done everything what normal people do. I am graduated. Now, what do you expect from me? What do you want from me? So the only answer that I got from my father and my mother was that you should be able to, be independent. ठीक है, अपने पैरों पे खड़ा होना जिसे कहते हैं, वो उनको चाहिए था. And I had a very simple thing कि अब मुझे बस उसको convince करना है कि without this degree, I can stand on my legs. I can be independent. And that's what I did. I just, told them कि मेरी क्या interest है, because they already knew, they were already, they have always been supportive. Otherwise, मैं कहाँ से कर पाता इतनी चीजें. So I gave them everything. I told them कि मैं कैसे survive करूँगा. If everything goes wrong ना, तब भी I knew कि I can teach. ठीक है, because I've already taught as a job, और उसके पहले भी मैंने I started free classes in my hometown, और मैं वहाँ भी लोगों को पढ़ाता था free में. Wow. Computers only, programming and all that. And amazing. I also taught inside my in my school. So I taught my classmates during this 10th board. ठीक है, मेरे computer teacher was not very मतलब he was knowledgeable, but इतने ज़्यादा वो नहीं थे into teaching. He was just doing his job. Got it. Where are you from, by the way? Where is Gopalganj, Bihar.
Gopalganj, awesome. So in Gopalganj, you were teaching people
MTAV
how
public
to code.
School.
Wow, amazing. And what did you teach? C++?
C. I always start with C language, yeah.
Awesome. And when you went for college, like what were you teaching there?
I did not
Not
teach from
college,
college.
11, 12, sorry.
I was teaching my syllabus only to my
Awesome.
classmates, which was actually weird.
Amazing. No, it's not weird at all. I've had, a few friends. I was mostly on the receiving side, receiving end of things. But yeah, this is pretty amazing, man. So with C, is that how you got into programming?
No, I have been coding since class 5th. So I always had interest in coding. Before doing all this,
Wow.
before
Tell us
before class
tell us
10th,
more about that.
before class 10th, I had already built, I think, around 20 plus applications. I mean, again, I haven't sold anything, but yeah, I have built so many projects.
Uh-huh.
Literally, if I'll tell you now, I have 40 plus small and mid-scale projects that are actually good. I'm not counting the
Wow.
older ones. So I'm
Amazing. That's
counting only
crazy.
the things that are good, actually.
That's amazing, man. I know
Yeah.
like the pressure of selling comes from Shadab, maybe. And no,
No, no, no.
anyway,
It's just
yeah.
that what I meant from this is that I was not able to make any money from all this
Oh,
for a
got it.
long time.
Got it.
Yeah. But,
Absolutely.
you
But
know,
honestly, I can tell you that a lot of people invest so much
hmm,
money in learning how to build one of these. So I would say like you earned a lot from this, right? In terms of
of course, yeah.
not in terms of money, but in terms of knowledge and everything that you're doing today, it really comes from, So there are a lot of people out there, Utsav, and also in Pesto, right? Who are looking to build stuff and who are looking to learn things to, have that builder's mindset. So you have been doing it from like class fifth. How old were you when you first started doing it, by the way?
I actually don't remember my exact age at that time.
In
But yeah,
fifth grade, in fifth grade,
yes,
how old were you? I guess like nine,
not nine, I would say, but yeah, I think 11, 12, I'm not sure. Maybe
11,
nine.
12, maybe.
Uh,
Got it.
I don't remember exactly.
Awesome.
I am very bad with this timeline thing.
No worries. Yeah, but yeah, coding from fifth is crazy. I think the first thing I built in seventh grade was more like a website. Those days we used to have like frame sets and
Hmm.
building tables to fit in images
Yeah,
and
I've done that.
building things on Flash, right?
Hmm.
Micromedia Flash,
Yes, yes.
building animations and stuff, right? So if somebody is today, getting into programming, let's say they're at a very early stage,
Mhm.
and they're looking to build things and learn how to code, what would you advise them? Like, what would be like the fastest path to, you know, um, building something and learning how to code?
Create open source libraries. That's it.
Wow. Tell us more about that. I'm a huge open source buff and yeah, would love to hear more about that.
So I haven't really contributed much in others project because I am one of those programmers who don't like to read others code. I know it's important, I know it's helpful, but I don't do that as much. So what I do is whenever I see a problem, whenever I'm repeating my code among different projects, I just build a library for that. What it does it for me is I actually know how to structure it, not just for one single project, but for multiple projects. That it should be, I should not, I should not have to come back to the my library updated for every project. So I
Mhm.
already have to think about how it can be implemented in different projects with different requirements and still work, flawlessly. So
Wow.
yeah,
तो कितनी
that
libraries बनाई आपने अभी in
I
total?
guess 20 plus,
Wow.
mostly for Android.
We need your GitHub handle and we will attach that in description down below, right? But
Yeah,
that is
sure.
amazing. What are some of like, let's talk about a couple of libraries which you really respect and how can others who are listening to this video contribute to it?
So I would tell you about a very basic problem. I mean, I know it's not a big deal, but yeah, I'll tell you why I'm telling this is because it's so very basic that I can explain it on a call in a
Mhm.
few minutes. So in Android, you have a switch, right? So you can toggle it on and off. But
Mhm.
whenever you do a callback is called that, yeah, switch is toggled. I don't exactly remember the callback name, but yeah,
Mhm.
you get that callback. Now the problem is that this callback is fired every time. So even if the user is clicking on it manually, or if you try to change it programmatically, so
Mhm.
there is no variation for you to know that, yeah, was it clicked by user or am I changing it manually? So
Mhm.
if you want to fire something only on users, I can say action, you can't do
Mhm.
that.
Got
So
it.
I created an advanced switch library, which, just gives you a out of the box one another callback, which helps you do this. So if you
Mhm.
want to fire only on users callback, you can do that.
Mhm.
If you want it to be fired only programmatically, you can do that too. And again, the default feature is also there. So yeah.
Wow. Got it. No, it sounds very useful. And I also feel like as a developer, just contributing small ideas like these, which just like makes not the life of a customer that easy, but the life of a developer much
Right.
easier is something which really shows the problem solving mindset which you have, right? And I think, yeah, more people should build libraries like these.
I'm actually too much into DX, so developer experience matters a lot for me.
Is it? Wow, amazing.
I have actually created a bundle of interfaces for Android where
Uh-huh.
I created my own architecture that, yeah, this is how you should structure your application. Inside this application, these all libraries you use. And, I just created a bundle, and every time I need to create a new application, it takes me, I think, hardly 5 minutes to get
Mm-hmm.
started. And I have
Wow.
a properly structured, well-built project ready in 5 minutes. And then on top of that, I can build my features.
That is crazy. So you started doing, contributing to these projects. Tell us about your journey from that point. Like you were teaching in class 11th to people,
Hmm.
and then how did you enter the professional world? How did you get into programming and, sort of, I guess like web development is what you're doing. So how did you get into
Hmm.
that?
So when I was teaching at Aptech as a job, so after continuously teaching for 9 months, there is a time when you realize, no, that yeah, this is too much of repetitive task. Because
Yes.
class after class, I had to teach the same thing. I know I mean, see, why I love teaching is because I learn a lot. When student asks weird question, now you get to research, right? You don't know everything, and I feel like teaching is the only way to getting as close to some to learning everything, because students
Mm-hmm.
ask all kind of questions from dumb to dumb and
Mm-hmm.
from smart to smartest. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was my motivation for teaching. But after 9 years, 9 months, it was just too repetitive. And
Mm-hmm.
for that reason specifically, I decided to know I just want to change my path now. And I want to start actually building. I was already doing coding. I was already building side projects, and I was also doing freelancing at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But now I wanted to do it as a job, because the problem is you should never be the smartest person in the room. And
Yes, absolutely.
and in my company, in my startup, in my freelance consultancy, whatever you want to call it, because it's not registered, uh, I was the smartest person in my room. I was hiring a few interns. I was getting them to work. I was paying them and all that. But I was the smartest person in the room, and I was not learning anything new. And
Mm-hmm.
that hit me that no, I just need to switch from this now. I need to start something, maybe an internship, because at that time I didn't believe I can get a job.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean that has been my mindset, because I did not have a degree, and society
Mm-hmm.
had me brainwashed that without degree you can't get a good job.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my plan. So yeah, I
Absolutely.
started an internship if,
Nice.
at Creatrix. That is also institution for Gate. I don't. It is now sold to Unacademy,
Mm-hmm.
but I did a 2 months internship there. I learned a lot. I would recommend everybody, every fresher, every aspiring developer to do an internship. You
Yeah.
don't know what you think you know. You don't know it.
Absolutely. Yes. And I'm glad that you say it this way. You don't, and I think like that's the biggest thing with software development. And I think like that's one
Hmm.
of the things which we try to do at Pesto. A lot of people ask us like, what do you do in these 2 months? And I keep telling people that, we can't really teach you software development in 2 months. If that was
Yeah.
true, we would be richest people on the planet, or wildly successful. So that doesn't work. But
Right.
what we do is reduce the number of unknowns that you have in your
Right.
life, right? So I think
Hmm.
with that internship, that's specifically that, right? Like you don't know what you don't know, right? And I
Yes.
think
Yeah.
unless you know what you don't know, you won't really have a career path in which you can pursue more things, right? So I think,
Hmm.
um, so glad to hear this. So after the internship, what happened?
So before I get there, I'll just like to mention this very small incident which happened with me at this company.
Uh-huh.
What happened was they gave me a simple task. I remember it's from something related to SQL, and at that time I was super confident with SQL. I thought that give me anything in SQL, I can do it, and I
Wow.
actually did the task. That was not
Uh-huh.
the problem,
Mm-hmm.
because I have been doing it for a long time. I did the
Mm-hmm.
task, I completed it. When I sent it for PR review,
Mm-hmm.
my reviewer was like, at that time he was sitting next to my desk. My reviewer started laughing, and I was like, "What happened?" He was like, "What have you done?" Then he said, "Why didn't you use join here?" I was like, "Join?" Then he said another keyword. I don't remember exactly what. He was like, "Okay, no problem. Why didn't you try this?" I was like, "What the hell is that?" Then he gave me one more keyword, and I was like, "Chai." What
Yeah.
he did, he just came to me. He opened W3 schools with that SQL, and he said, "Padho,"
Yeah.
and left. And at
That's
that time, I
hilarious. Yeah.
literally felt कि कुछ नहीं आता मेरे को.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think we all have friends. Like I saw this video of a comedian. I think, Harsh Thagar, I guess, and he was telling that how he was in a data entry job and he filled
Uh,
each data like line by line and worked so hard and created a Excel of 200 people, and then his manager comes in, writes a query, and then all of it is filled, right? So I think um, the sad part is a part of this is that as a developer in first 4 years, I guess you keep having these kind of moments
right.
with different scale constantly throughout, right?
That is
And
very true. Yeah.
yeah, and that's why mentorship becomes like, or mentorship, coaching, whatever you may call it, becomes a really key ingredient for this. So
Yes.
absolutely, totally agree.
So,
But
uh, from mentorship, now I would also like to mention that at one time, I think it was my first Android project. I actually built JSON. So I
oh
didn't
wow,
know that something like JSON existed in the world. So I created my own pattern. It has its own parser classes. It has its own stringify classes, and I would send
nice,
data from my server in that format. I didn't know about JSON.
wow,
And when I think about this, I was like, yeah, JSON is सबसे basic चीज. Everybody knows about JSON,
absolutely,
and I
yes,
had to
yes.
build it from scratch.
Yeah, but that's isn't that like a? I would say it's a good thing and a bad thing.
It
I
is,
think
yeah,
knowing about it,
definitely a
everybody
good
does.
thing.
With time, you will get to know about it. But I think it's a really amazing thing because you basically are thinking from a problem solving mindset,
Yeah,
which is one of the key things, right? So that's pretty amazing. But awesome. Moving forward after the
yeah.
internship, what happened? Where did you end up? Did you get a job or what happened?
No, no, no. After the internship, I went back home. This was this time when this 11th class wala situation happened. And
Oh, one sec. You're still in class 11th.
yes, yes, yeah. I'm still in
Okay.
class 11. Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
So after this, I went home. After 11th month, this 1 month was left now. So
Yes.
in this 1 month, I had to study. So I went back home, and all the
Okay.
situation happened. So after that, I think I stayed home. I don't exactly remember, and I started doing freelancing full time. So I would build projects, and I would take orders from clients. I would build their projects. I have done this for the longest time.
Hmm.
And I think around 2020, this was so I basically dropped my school after 2018. That is in my class 10th in 2018. So after that, 2019, and I would say half 2020, I was doing this only for
Hmm.
1 year almost. And then after that, I actually got contacted back from my manager from this first job, first internship, which is Creatrix. Their situation was that their current developer was leaving, and the new developer was coming in 1 month,
Hmm.
and now they had nobody to work or help with their product for this 1 month. So since
Hmm.
the manager already knew me, and he knew I can do the work, he called me and he was like, I have this part-time requirement, will you be available to do that? I
Hmm.
said, yeah, sure, why not? Because again, I was already impressed with this manager. He was really
Yeah.
good, he knows his stuff, right? So
Hmm.
when I got the chance, I was like, definitely I would do. He said, what would you take? I was like, I don't care, give me whatever you think is fair, and I'll just accept it. And I
Hmm.
did the work there for 2 months, the same part-time job. I think it was 4 hours a day. I was getting 15,000 at that time for this
Wow.
4 hours. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's it. After this 2 months, this was the time when I was also doing Pesto. So I
Hmm.
applied for Pesto in November 2020, and this was a time during which I was also doing Cambo. I was also working at Cambo. These two
So just to be clear, you were getting like 15,000 rupees per month.
per month. Yeah,
That is insane.
I didn't know my worth. I'm telling you, no?
Yeah, crazy. Okay.
I didn't know what I was worth. So this is actually the craziest thing that has happened with me so far. I'll tell you. So what happened at Pesto? You obviously know that you have early, I don't know what you call it, early selection. You send out resumes early. So I got my resume sent. I think around 2.5 months when I was in Pesto for 2.5 months or
Hmm.
3 months almost. My resume was already out. It was uploaded on the portal, and in 1 week I got the job at proximity. So in the,
Wow.
I'm not saying offer. I'm not
Amazing.
saying I got the interview. I'm saying I got the job in 1 week.
Crazy.
So
Amazing.
interview, yeah. From the day the interview was in, my resume was uploaded. Next day I got the interview, I did the interview process for 1 week, and in 1 week I had the job.
Any review which you can share, or anything which you can share with people who are looking to join Pesto or who have joined Pesto?
Yes. So I would actually share this. My motivation to join Pesto was obviously not money, because I was not making money already. This was not going to change anything for me. I was passionate about this thing, so I was doing it. Anyways, so what Pesto was doing, I got to know about it from YouTube, some channel, and Pesto was claiming 10 LPA a year at the time of COVID, when everybody was losing their jobs left and right. And I was like, again, like everybody else, I thought this is some kind of scam. So I went to Pesto's website. I saw everything. I was like, you see, I don't have to pay anything upfront. Why don't I try it? And I was in, dire need of a mentor. I had never had a mentor, so I was like, nahi, mere ko to chahiye. And if they're offering me, why won't I take it? So I applied to Pesto, and that was my motivation. And I also thought that Pesto has some kind of magic spell which they will they're keeping out. And I was curious to know, okay, what is this magic spell? How are you claiming this? But after coming to Pesto, I would say this: Pesto does not have a magic spell. You will still have to work on yourself. What Pesto does is, what Pesto did for me was, Pesto just showed me the right way. So I didn't know what things I need to consider, what things I should be, careful about when working on a code. Like I said, I was building projects. I have built so many projects, but absolutely. I was not doing it in the right way. I was not doing it in the best way possible. And that's what Pesto did for me. It, actually showed me how a code should be, how, what is to, just not write code blindly and think about how it will be, how you can make it more performative, how you can be more, mindful about how you'll modify it, and so many other things that is required in a project that is being used in a team. So that is the biggest thing that Pesto did for me. And of course, I learned the soft skills, and I would never forget what Nitin did for me for resume. So he actually, I think we altered my resume for 14 times, but it was worth it. I'm so proud of my resume right now. So
No, that's amazing, man. I definitely agree. I think it's more about removing the unknown unknowns, right? Like we keep saying it that, like 2 months or 6 months, 6 months probably like will teach you more. And we have a plus program which we have launched, in which we basically spend more time, so we'll probably be able to teach more things to people. But I think in 6 week or 8 weeks program, it's just impossible to teach someone from scratch, right? And I think it's more about people who know how to code, they need to know basics, and then it's more about removing their unknown unknowns and figure out how to do things in the best possible manner. And it's really incredibly difficult to communicate that, tell them what we'll be doing, because they don't know what they don't know, right? Like it's like removing the unknown unknowns. So I think that's like a very challenging communications problem which we face. Utsav, just to close off this conversation, what would be a couple of recommendations which you would give to a young developer or somebody who is who has taken up software engineering and it's been like less than 2 years?
Sure. So basically, my top 3 points would be, starting from, don't be the smartest person in the room. That's something for you. Second thing would be, actually record everything you do. I don't mean record like a video record the time that you're doing. So if you're working on a module, if you're working on a component, if you're working on a project, time that, how much time you're working. And what this does is it gives you, a flow that with what flow you're doing. And in days to come, you actually start to compete with yourself, because that's something that I have done. So I was like, I have worked for 10 hours today. I would work for 11 tomorrow. So that gives you a competition with yourself, which is actually a good thing. And I would actually like to recommend application if you want to do that. Again, it's not sponsored, of course. There is an application called Boosted. It's on Android. It's not for iOS. But the thing that Boosted does it's actually manual. So it's a manual effort, but it is worth it. I would say this. So what you can do is you can create your projects, and then you can time different actions that you're doing in this project. So what I generally do is I track my modules. If I'm working on a, let's say, authentication module, I would time that how much time it took me to create the authentication module. And in the next project, when I'm building the authentication module, I would actually compare this time. That last time it took me, let's say 15 hours. This time it took me 12 hours. So obviously I'm doing better. So this gives a clear track of time of what you're doing. So that's something I would recommend. And the third thing that I would recommend is to invest in yourself. And I don't just mean time. Of course, you should invest your time. I would also say money. I would say if you want to, be in this technical job, you need to have a website. It's always helpful for you. So build a portfolio, give time to it, give 50 hours, give 40 hours, whatever time you need to give it, and pay money for it. Actually, I'm not saying to advertise it. I'm saying get a good domain. Don't create something like .versalab.com. That's not good. So that you believe in yourself. So I would also, I'll also go ahead to say that buy Google Workspace a subscription so that you also have a professional email. Focus on your social media. Try to create personal brand. So, don't associate yourself with a company or with a product that, somebody has built this product. Personal brand yourself, create a brand of yourself, which is, obviously going to help you in the long run. And that's something that I'm trying to do. I have not done this yet. I mean, I have my website, I have my professional emails, but I am now starting to, do some personal branding. I'll start posting something on my social media accounts. So yeah, that's something that I will obviously recommend.
That is amazing. And we'll also link Utsav's socials in descriptions in case he starts posting before this video goes live. So you have incentive now.
Utsav.pro everywhere, actually. I have a common username, Utsav.pro, and it's everywhere. And even my website is, you guessed it, Utsav.pro.
Cool, Leo. Amazing, man. Love all these three things, and I can, totally relate with these as well. Super, super helpful. But thanks again, Utsav, for taking our time and sharing all these golden nuggets with us. And really, really excited for your journey ahead.
Thank you so much, Ayush. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.